I was only 7 years old when I walked in the door and told my parents, I'm going to play the violin. They laughed. They were like, what do you mean you're going to play the violin? And I said, this lady came to my school. She played the violin, the viola, the cello, and the bass, and I am going to play the violin. This is a new episode to tell you where it all happened and when I quit it all. If you're in a place where you've given up on music or you've quit your instrument and you're yearning to come back to it after all of those years, or if you're just so frustrated you almost want to quit because it's so challenging, this episode is for you. I quit violin on the spot when I had an audition in the 7th grade for the San Diego Youth Symphony. And if I had quit for good, I wouldn't be here. This podcast wouldn't exist. My teaching studio wouldn't exist. Music Rebels would not exist. And I wouldn't be here to chat with y'all today. If we haven't met, I'm EP Archer, and I help committed adults improve their quality of life with music. Today's a little different. No framework, no tips, just my story because I want to connect with you. I know we've all had a moment where we want to throw in the towel. Maybe not even just with music, maybe with other things in your life. But if you stay at the end, I think you're going to get some inspiration. So after this lady came to my school, I declared it to my parents. I basically stood my ground. And even though they laughed, they did support it. And I started. They handed us out the violins, and we had the Suzuki method at that time. And it was a little bit back in the day. And so we literally weren't even allowed to open the case. So I've got this case, I've got this violin, and I'm popping it open, and then I'm closing it, and I'm getting all caught up already in the rules. And I just want to play it. And I about lost my marbles and freaked out because at one point my parents were trying to make a video for my grandparents. We were practicing the rest position and putting our arms up in the air, but still not allowed to play anything, holding the instrument, but putting it back so carefully. And my dad was finally like, we got to make a video for grandma. Just play something on that thing. And I was like, I don't know how to play anything. It was out of tune. And we had gotten this kind of tussle about it. And I almost cried. And so I finally picked up the violin and I tried to play some pepperoni pizza, bunny rabbit, hop hop. And it was terribly out of tune. And it was just this moment where I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so excited about this, but I don't even know how to play it yet. But I did get there and I worked hard, and I don't remember feeling like, wow, this is easy. I'm so talented. People tell me nowadays all the time, wow, you're so talented. And I just think, well, I worked so hard. Who knows? I'm sure there's an innate something, but the main thing that created what I can do on the violin today and the piano and the other instruments I play is consistency. It's dedication. It's skill. It's getting the right input from the right person at the right time in your life. And so I worked hard. I didn't have lessons. I tried to do it on my own, and we finally could afford a teacher at some point. I think it was quite a few years. And when I got an amazing teacher, I finally started understanding the why and the how. And that's when my progress really skyrocketed. But then I had that audition for the San Diego Youth Symphony. And I remember just the anxiety and the trepidation and my body locking up and feeling like, why am I doing this? And all of a sudden it was about pressure and expectation and what the symphony wanted and what my teacher wanted. And luckily my parents were super supportive. And my mom said, hey, if you want to quit the violin, you have learned a great skill, you've improved your brain, you have committed to something and stuck with it. And we're happy with that. And I remember being shocked, wait, I'm allowed to quit. And I'm so grateful. And now I know in retrospect, the genius of a parent. And if you're a parent, you know this genius as well. But allowing me to walk away from something on my own terms to return to it on my own terms, which, spoiler alert, is what ended up happening. And it was over 6 months. We put the violin in the closet and she said, well, maybe you'll come back to it. And if not, that's okay. And I remember just being like, I'm never coming back to it. You can sell that. But secretly being happy they didn't sell it, knowing it was in the closet, thinking about it. And maybe you've had a violin in your closet for longer than that. Maybe you've had something there for years. Maybe you have an older instrument passed down to you, like one of my students from a great grandparent that you just always have wanted to repair and try it out. Maybe you've just always wanted to do this and you never took the leap. And I'm here to say, take the leap, follow that dream. It's this sound we hear and we feel it in our bodies, right? I remember when that lady played those notes, I wanted to feel that. I wanted to create that. I wanted to talk to an instrument that way and have it talk back to me. I wanted to have that relationship with sound where my feelings were finally had somewhere to go, where I could say something without words. And so I'm walking down the hallway of my junior high. I've already quit for over 6 months at this point. It's not super on my radar, and I hear one of the Brandenburg concertos drifting through the hallway. It probably didn't sound that good, right? Because it was junior high, but in my mind, I could hear the whole chamber orchestra, and I could feel my fingers on the strings, and I remember thinking, I know that one. I wish I was in there. And something snapped and everything flooded back, and I just heard everything in my heart again. And that was a moment that violin became mine again. It was mine when I started, but somewhere along the way I had forgotten why I play and what motivates me and what makes me feel amazing and alive. And the second I remembered that, everything changed. So if you have been in this situation, whether it's as a young person, a teenager, a young adult, or currently now, whatever made you put down your instrument, the anxiety, the time, life getting in the way, it doesn't have to be the end of your story. That moment where you feel the music flooding through you again, that's just right around the corner. And if you want that music to flood through you and you're trying and you're practicing now, but it's not coming out the way you hear it in your head, there are practical solutions. Music is not just our feelings, it's physics. And with expert guidance, you can move through those blocks. And if you have a community of people all doing it, there is nothing like knowing you're not alone. You're making the time for yourself, you're picking up your instrument, and you're not doing it alone. That's why I wanted to create something just like that for adults. Violin for adults. See, we can make our beautiful tone and have confidence. It's for those who are committed to feeling that beautiful sound, to being able to play music you love, to be confident enough to jam out or share it with a friend or play at your church or join a band, go to an open mic night, maybe even write your own music, to be able to have music be a part of your life, because we know the benefits of it, but we also know the challenges of it. And sometimes they're so great, we feel like we have to quit. If you haven't quit yet, don't. Contact me. I am here to help. You can find us on Facebook, EP Archer, and you can find us on social media. I literally cannot wait to talk with you. I want to hear what your challenges are, what you're facing, and let's unlock it together. And I can't wait to see you there, because this is about your story and your music and your sound. So grab that instrument, know you can do it, and let's do it together. If you want to tell me right now, head on over to Facebook and /groups adult violin, and I will see you there. And until then, keep playing your best music. If today's episode reminded you that playing with joy is literally one of the best things you can do for your brain, your health, and your life, don't let that feeling go. Something is coming for those of you who are ready to make a commitment for real. Stay close. Find me. I want you there.